Right, so in today's video we're going to be doing a full renovation on this lawn. Now this lawn you might have seen in the previous video if you've been on this channel for a while. I put some liquid iron on this a few weeks back, and now that the temperatures are getting a little bit warmer, we can finally start getting on with a bit of seed. But before we do, we're going to scalp this lawn. We're going to take it down really low, and then we're going to actually do a really heavy scarification. We're almost going to scarify it within an inch of its life, because this lawn is going to have to look worse before it gets better. Now you'll know if you need to scarify it quite a lot when you actually feel it, when you walk along it, when it feels quite spongy, and you can see there's a lot of thatch in this lawn. So that tells us one of a few things. First of which is that it's most likely got a lot of fescue, possibly a bit of bent in here. I'm not 100% sure, but it's definitely a fescue lawn because there's a lot of that thatch. And something else to take note of this lawn is that this was put down by the housing developers. Now, if that's anything to go off, you know that housing developers in the UK don't really do a whole lot to improve the soil quality of these lawns. So I'm imagining this is quite a clay heavy lawn. It sits in the sun for quite a lot of the day. So we are going to be overseeding this with a fescue mix today, because we've got a lot of fescue grass anyway. And by incorporating some more fescue, it's just going to mean that it's more drought tolerant when we get to the summer. Still might go to crispy town, but hopefully won't be as bad. So you can see this lawn does have a few weeds knocking about. There's a dandelion there, there's some weed grasses over this side, some clumps. So I might actually get on with the weed pulling tool and remove some of these, but I'm not going to be pulling all of them. And the reason being is because when you see this lawn from distance, it looks pretty nice. And once it's actually been overseeded, and once we actually, get on with like products like fertilizers and things, it's really going to bring this lawn to life. So we don't have to be doing 1,000,001 things. We're not going to put 1,001 products on this lawn this year. It has had an application of iron, it has had some seaweed, but the only thing this is going to be getting moving forward is just a very basic organic fertilizer, which I'll let you know about more in a few weeks when it arrives. So let's get on, let's scalp the lawn before we scarify. So there we go, we've given it a cut. I put it on the second lowest setting on the Bosch. Didn't want to go to the lowest because the fact that we have this really thick thatch layer, it is really spongy when you're walking around. So if I was to go a little bit lower, the blade's just going to get clogged within all that thatch because it is so thick. It's not been dethatched in probably 2 or 3 years. And with it being a fescue lawn, that has meant there's been a lot of thatch that has built up. Now, for most people, this would have just been enough cutting the grass. So they've gotten something from the garden centre, applied some product to it, and then just left it there for this year. However, what we are going to be doing, like I just said, is we're going to be scarifying it, and yes, we're scarifying it within an inch of its life because there's a lot going on this lawn. So before I pull anything out, any weeds, we're going to get on with the scarifier, give it a scarify, and let's just see how much thatch comes off. So there we go, the lawn has been well and truly scarified within an inch of its life. You may have seen on the footage that over this side, it was quite wet, the soil, and that just shows you the impact that the thatch has. As much as, thatch can be a positive thing when you've got the right soil conditions, but when you've got such a thick mat, which this lawn had, it shows you how much moisture the soil actually retains. So probably a little bit too wet over there to have done this today, but the sun's out. It's going to be sunny now for another 2 or 3 days, fingers crossed. That's what the weather says anyway. So it'll be absolutely fine. It'll be able to dry out a lot of that moisture that is trapped in there. So next port of call is to get on with the grass seed. And like we said at the start of the video, we're going with a fescue grass seed because this is predominantly a fescue lawn. If I put down ryegrass on here, all it's going to mean is that when it comes to fertilise it later this spring, early summer, I'm going to have to cut it, you know, 3 or 4 times a week, whereas this is a lawn that I want to be cutting around about once, twice at most a week. So putting a fescue grass down is going to grow a little bit more laterally. We're not going to have as much of that vertical growth. And yeah, let's get on with the seed. So there we go, got the grass seed down. It was a lot, but I put a lot down because there's a lot of bare spaces. Lots of the previous lawn is gonna come back through, but with any sort of grass seed, when you put it down, you're always gonna have lots that germinate. There's also gonna be quite a lot as well that doesn't germinate, it's just gonna like rot away potentially. So you're better to put too much down than too few. Now when you do get bags of seed, they usually give you instructions as to how much to put down, what the sort of sow rate is. I usually just eyeball it. I used to measure it out, but you spend days just faffing about doing that sort of thing. So I just usually look and see if there's a decent spread across the lawn, which there clearly is now. I'm usually satisfied with that. But if you do want to get the accuracy perfect, get on, measure it out and overseed. So the final thing we're going to do is we're going to top dress this lawn. We're going to use compost. You don't necessarily have to top dress. Grass does grow if you leave the seed just exposed on the top of the soil, but birds can come and take it. So you can get on with like a lawn dressing which has a lot of sand in there. You can use topsoil, you can use compost like I am today. I'm going to be using a compost spreader. It's completely unnecessary, but I'm using it purely for the efficiency. You can get on and rake the compost about, but if you put it in a compost spreader, you can just roll it about your lawn. It's nice and easy to do. So yeah, let's get on with that, and then the renovation will be complete. So there we go, the renovation is complete. We've scarified it heavily, we've overseeded it, and we've top dressed it with compost. Now, fingers crossed for more warmer weather over the next month, and what we should hopefully expect is within a month's time, by the time we get to May, this lawn should be well on the way to greening up, thickening up, and hopefully it's looking better than it did about an hour ago. So thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to watch any more of my garden renovation videos or any of my lawn tip videos, feel free to subscribe. And finally, thanks for watching.